Morning.
Morning, guys. I'm just trying to get everybody into the meeting.
Got some jackets and fleece tops on today. We do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? It just makes for working out later even better.
It's good for me.
And good for everybody, really. Good for everybody. How's everybody doing this morning?
Excellent. Really good.
That's what I like.
I like it. Feeling the results of two workouts already.
I'll bet you are.
I'm sure.
What's that muscle called that hurts? Oh yeah, it's called the body.
It's called all of them.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling them all.
Well, for everybody that was there, you did remarkably well. It's clear you had been doing something during the period of time, and it's it's a slow, soft return. It's nothing meant to be crazy.
Yeah, I like that.
Just kind of and it'll be that way, for a little while now, just to kind of get the bodies back into some sense of intensities and volumes and different things like that. So it'll be great for everybody.
But my mood is great.
I'm sorry?
My mood is great.
Hey, that's really the most important thing, actually.
Exactly.
It really is. So I'll just get started on a quick little update. Tuesday's conversation with the board. Well, let me back up. I'm sure most of you know, but for those of you who don't, I've been in contact with the board of supervisors here in this county for weeks now, and had the great opportunity to be on line with everybody, including the health directors. And they have submitted to the governor's office to let El Dorado County move into phase 3. And I can't confirm this, but I heard yesterday, several people told me they heard on the radio that the governor, as soon as next week, at some point, is trying to move the state into phase 3, which would be good news. Again, I have nothing to confirm that. So I know yesterday in his address, he talked about the riots. He talked about the protests and things like that. So if that is the case, that's wonderful news. That's great news for everybody. That doesn't mean that we drop our guard, right? I talked about that a week ago, and we certainly don't want to do that. So guys, no matter what, when you come here, let's kind of address here. When I say here, I mean the facility. So when you arrive, guys, you'll have to stay outside. I know people will always wonder, hey, well, the cardio machines aren't being taken up. Why can't I just start some cardio early? Well, our job in keeping everybody safe is controlling traffic, if you will, for lack of better words, and asking questions, right, of people. Even though people don't want to be asked those questions, we have to ask those questions to keep everybody safe. So, you're going to be asked, have you had a temperature? You're going to be asked, do you have a cough? You're going to be asked, do you have a cold? You're going to be asked, do you have flu-like symptoms? Have you had any nausea, the runs, things like that? You're going to be asked to stay at home, use common sense. It's just kind of the way we have to do business right now, guys. And I do agree with that. I mean, we have to protect each other as we start returning back to activity. I'll just say activity. I don't know whether activity is the gym. I don't know if activity is work. I don't know if activity is shopping. But we do have to protect each other. So that is the reason for keeping people outside the facility at a good 6-foot distance. It was funny. I tell a story the other day. Some folks were coming in, and they were all different types of folks. And I turned to one of my coaches. I said, "Look outside." I said, "So much for social distancing, huh?" They were hugging each other and all kinds of stuff. So you just have to be careful, right? Everybody's.
We missed each other. That's why.
What's that, Melissa?
We missed each other, and
Absolutely. I mean, I understand the community. Believe me, I miss you guys truly, and it was so great seeing everybody. We just got to be careful, and I think everybody's an adult. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody's mind thinks differently, and we have to respect that in each way, shape, and form. And I think if we do that, we're going to be okay. Does that mean we're not going to get sick? No, guys, we are going to get sick. That's just human nature. It's how we prepare the body for that. Certain things aren't going to stop. The common cold's not going to stop. The flu's not going to stop. But if we can start to take measures to limit those things without going overboard, I think we're really positioning ourselves well. So with the update, let me give you guys some numbers. 6,006 tested cases here in El Dorado County, approximately. Those numbers could have changed since Tuesday. 102 confirmed positive cases, 0 deaths. 1 person has yet to recover from it. Everybody else has recovered. So that's less than 1%. I think we're doing pretty good. I think you guys have done a great job. I think the county has done a great job. I do think that people are listening, even though, I hear and I see through conversations, people talking about, oh, they're not doing this and they're not doing that and they're doing this too early. Well, everybody has an opinion. And if you look at the numbers and you look at what the governor asked to happen when this whole thing started, was to reduce the curve. It has happened. Was to get hospitals up and prepared, which has happened. Has it happened 100%? No. Are all the masks delivered and so on and so forth? No. Has our county done a hell of a job? Yes. We're very fortunate because we have room. We're not clustered. We're not all together multifamily homes. So we've done a great job. So, congratulations and give yourselves a hand. And I feel really good, especially after Tuesday, about the position that we're in. As I said, everybody's going to have an opinion. Who should be open? Who should be closed? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Well, it's easy to sit back and be an armchair quarterback. But unless you're actually in the battle, unless you're actually having to make decisions, there is no right way to do anything or everything. So you have to make the best decisions. You have to balance things, and you have to keep the damage control to the most minimum possible. And when I talk about damage control, I'm talking about, again, is somebody going to get a cold? Yes. Once things start opening up more, will our numbers change? Yes. If we didn't have this, if you didn't know anything about this, would our numbers have changed? Yes. The flu always goes up. The flu always goes down. We have seasons for this kind of stuff. But we're just paying attention more to it now because it was brought to the forefront. It was, the social media was amazing about it. It was something to pay attention to. So was, and so is a lot of other diseases that have passed us in years. Will it come back? They say it will. I'm not a doctor. Okay. Will it come back as something else? Maybe. We're better prepared now, I think. I hope. And I mean, as individuals, we know what to do. We know how to prepare our bank accounts. We know how to prepare our businesses. We know how to prepare our homes. And so I think we are in a better position overall. Does anybody have any questions on the update type situation? Does anybody have any questions when you come here to the facility, what to expect? I think some folks, and it's been a slow matriculation, I think some folks who have seen the facility now have a better understanding of how much work went into preparing the facility safely. Guys, we spent countless hours. The coaching staff has done a remarkable job, and I don't think we could have done anything better. I don't think there is anything better we could do to have prepared the facility. And people are seeing too, as we work through the different time frames, they're seeing how the cleanliness is being taken care of, the spraying of the turf, with the, let me just kind of show you guys. I know this is kind of a bit crazy, but I guess I will lift this up and show you what we're cleaning the turf with. So if anybody has any questions of whether or not we're actually doing it, we have at least 4 of these sitting around that I will be, and Gabe will be, and the coaches will be spraying the turf daily with. If you haven't seen me doing it already, you will. It just depends on the time of the day. I try to keep the smells down a little bit for everybody. So I'm trying to pay attention to everything. Does anybody have any questions for me? For people who were a little bit leery, I think that fear, that caution has been brought down a little bit based upon our actions of the steps we've taken here to keep you guys safe. Does anybody have any questions for me? If you do, unmic and answer, please. Today's going to be a little bit more of a interactive. I really want to hear from you guys. Anybody, please ask away.
Hey Vince, it's Shauna.
Yeah.
So, hey, just huge kudos to you and all the coaches. The place looks amazing. The fresh paint. And it's funny because I've always thought that your gym has been spotless, and I always noticed how you wipe things down anyway, pre all of this. So the fact that we're in this now, I feel 100% confident. I have zero worries. You guys are doing a great job, and it's super appreciated, and I'm so glad you're open.
Shauna, thank you so much. I want you guys to know it's not just about you, and I don't say that, I don't mean that hurtfully. It's about you and your families. Because when you leave here, I have to feel rested that I've not only protected you, but I protected your families when you went home. And I'm going to encourage you guys to continue the steps that we're doing here. Do those steps at home, please. Avoid entering any facilities if you have a cough or a fever. And that means even your family members. Maintain the 6 feet distancing. I hear people saying how tired they are of hearing that. And yes, anytime we're told to do something, there's always that backlash of, well, who are you to tell me what to do? That kind of but in this case, and even if we didn't have this, maintaining a sense of distance is a good thing. I always go back to my law enforcement career. And when you step inside of a prison, you have this spatial awareness about you. And you have this spatial awareness about you because there's a threat element. There's a threat element, which means you could be attacked at any time. You could be ambushed. You could be, there's this well-known spatial awareness that not only the convicts know, but the staff know. And there was a time where an inmate could not approach you unless they asked you to approach you, just because of the attack. There were some violent times. So the 6 feet of distancing, I'm very careful, even when I go into a restaurant. Whether this was going on or not, I don't feel comfortable in big crowds. I've been in some pretty scary situations, and it's left a mark on me that I won't, when I go in, I always sit my back to a wall so I can see everything around me. It's spatial awareness. So we shouldn't lose that, okay? When you sneeze or cough, guys, it's very common to just put it in your elbow, okay? Use a tissue. I don't know if I agree or disagree with, well, for me personally, I like to shake hands. I'm a very touchy-feely kind of a person. I always have been that way. Coming from the East Coast, you always hug people. You know that, Shauna, being in Philly, and it's just the way it is. But again, everybody has their own comfort level, and don't be afraid to say, I'll fist bump you or whatever. It's okay, and the other person shouldn't feel slighted by that. There's so much stuff out there on the mask I'm not even going to get into. But here, I've done a lot of reading and a lot of research, and I'm going to go by what the county at this point says, which is just consider it. Wherever you go, you consider it. It's not mandated. And again, I will stick by that. Any other questions, guys? Shauna, thank you. So when you do decide when you want to come back, or make sure you have downloaded the Pike 13 app. Every single person, that means if you have kids, they have to have an account, guys. They have to have their name on the time slot, okay? Very important. And it's very important for a couple of reasons. One, from a business standpoint, we have to know how many coaches to have on the floor. Number two, we have to know how many people to expect in the group. Number three, we have to know the level of the people in the group so we know how to make the modifications. Number four, we have time frames and numbers that we have to stick by for the facility. So if you see a group that has 8, 9, 10, or 11, whatever it is, okay, and you don't feel comfortable there, but you see a group for 3, okay, do that. Go to that group. If you have children who are coming, there are designated times, again, and there are designated slots. Now, guys, this is going to be a sliding scale, too, because we're going to, as time goes on, we're going to be looking to see where we need to make adjustments. So do we open up more athlete slots because we don't have this many adults at this time? So we'll be playing with that number. Please bear with us. Bear with the asking of the questions. All we're trying to do is balance what we're being asked to do by delivering the best product to you guys moving forward. And truly, I want to be, I want this place, I know it's going to sound funny, but I want it to be somewhat like Disneyland. I want you to walk in and go, wow, okay, holy cow. They're doing things differently. It's cool, and like when you go to Disneyland, there's some things that are irritating. I get it, guys, but we are putting our best foot forward to try to do the best for you to keep you safe and to keep your families safe while getting you back on board with your workouts and your mental spirits, your emotional spirits, everything. So, it's time for us to get that content back. It's time for us to feel, for the lack of better words, from the Beauty and the Beast, human again, right? So these are things you're going to be hearing and seeing for quite some time, guys. This is not going to be a one and done deal, because as I told you guys, moving through the process, even in the beginning, there's some things that needed to change. And this was a perfect time to make those changes. Okay. So hopefully everybody is feeling pretty good right now. Are there any more questions about the facility that I can answer?
I just want to ask on that Pike sign up. If we've already signed up for the month of June through the website, do we still have to do it on the Pike thing? Because I'm trying to get the Pike.
Susan, can you answer that one for me if you're on?
Yeah, first of all, there's just one thing I need to change that's been said, and it's you need to actually be invited by Minnie's House of Pain in order to get into your account. Because the invitation I sent you, you need to read what I wrote because there are specific instructions. And then at the very bottom, it says, go to your account. And that is how you link the two together. So if you just go in and create a Pike 13, you're not going to be able to get in because they're not going to know that you are a part of Minnie's House of Pain unless I connect you. So, and I've been going through that. In fact, it's been, we've had a lot of questions, but it's actually gone really smooth. So good job for you guys. So yes, you will need to schedule every day you want to work out. Now, I will probably need to make some adjustments because this is a learning curve for all of us. And so when I did set it up, I set it up as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But probably at the end of the month, probably maybe over July 4th weekend, or we have a break, I'm going to go in and I'm going to revamp the whole thing because then each day will be individual. So if you're going to come in on Tuesday and Thursday, I can bulk enroll you in Tuesday and Thursday for the rest of your life. And then if you need to change it, then you would go in and cancel and reschedule. But that was a big learning curve for me. So yeah, there's going to be changes along the way, and I will let everybody know when that happens. And if anyone else has questions, just let me know.
Yeah, and guys, realize these are not our rules. This is how the system Pike 13 works. We chose Pike 13 at this point over like a mind body, because with mind body, you guys would have had to drill down so deep to try to make it work. This just seemed to be the most user-friendly system. And so we've had this system for a little bit. We did leave mind body. It was just too intricate at the time. And so I want you to know we didn't make up these rules to use the system and to balance what we're being asked to do from a county standpoint and a state standpoint. This is the system we chose, and we apologize for any inconveniences. But as you work through the system, you'll see it is pretty friendly. I've talked to some folks who are using it and using it effectively, and they seem to love it. So yeah, it's going to be a learning curve for all of us. But you'll see also it's better for you because you're going to be able to see exactly who, what, when, and where when you open up as well. So it's kind of cool. You'll see at the bottom, it says the waiting list will start after 12 people. But I think it gives you guys a little bit more latitude of how you want to schedule your workouts. So Susan, Lori Smith, great job on what you guys have done. I know it's going to be more learning and trial and error a little bit along the way. So please don't get frustrated. Share this with people who are not on the Zoom call. And that's the other thing too. Share with folks that, if you want to be informed, get on the Zoom calls. It's like during the week, we will be answering probably these questions 50 times. And they're like, hey folks, we've tried to send out a video. We've tried to send out an email. Check both of those. We've tried to give you Zoom calls, and we're trying to give you Facebook Live to inform you. So, there's an accountability part on the user to step up and inform themselves and educate themselves. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But any more questions on the facility, guys? Any more questions on what we've done? Any more questions on any uncertainties? The workouts are designed to be 45, 50 plus minutes, not much more than that, guys, because again, one of our mandates is that we have to sanitize in between each session, which is what you see us doing. If Gabe's running his class, when mine shuts down, I have about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm wiping things down for folks, floors, bathrooms. There's a lot, guys. There's a lot going on if you just kind of see it. So the other thing is with the workouts pace being picked up a little bit, that's giving you a better workout. That's giving you a more high intensity workout, which we've spoken before about how it keeps your metabolism rolling for hours after you get done working out, which means you're burning more calories. So there's a lot of advantages to it. A lot of people have really messaged me about the efficiency of the workout and how they like it. I put that back on you guys. You guys are making it efficient. You guys are listening. You guys are getting it done. And by the way, by doing that, you're just benefiting so much more from it. So for some people, they're not used to that. So it's something they have to get used to. Again, change, right? My gosh, I never worked out like this before. Well, guess what? This is how workouts should be, right? These are the paces that they should be. Will they slow down a little bit? Probably at some point. When we start getting into a little heavier work, the rest periods will be a little bit more, but we'll tell you when that happens. But we're not going to do that right now because the body's not ready for it. And I'm not saying all people, but for the most part, the body's not ready for that right now. We're going to go slow. We're going to take it easy. And, we're going to work you guys back in safely. Any more questions for me on that? Anybody? Thanks, Steph. So if you don't mind me, hey, Steph, are you on? Stefan, you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you share your comment if you don't mind? I didn't want to share it for you.
No, I just was letting you know. I like the flexibility of the Pike. I've got a schedule that can change on the fly, so I like the ability to check in and check out. And I really enjoyed, being in and out of there in 50 minutes. It's just been a good experience so far for me.
Thanks, Steph. And just so you guys know, for people who know IT type work, I like them sharing with you because that just validates that the program is a good program. And if it wasn't, I'm sure my IT people that I consult with would get on and tell or call me or text me or DM me and say, hey, Vince, check it out, man. You need to look at another system because that's not going to work for people. So it's kind of been tried, true, and tested. Lori Smith has been very, for those of you who don't know Lori, she typically comes in at 4 a.m. I know that god awful hour. But we love it. She would be on me in a heartbeat. She'd be on me like a cheap suit. And, she has raved about it. Lori, you're on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's easy. I worked with Susan early on, and when I found out I couldn't do the bulk booking, and so that worked really well. I'm booked at 4 a.m. and I, like Steph said, I like the flexibility. I might be out of town one day, and I could go in ahead of time, take myself off at 4 a.m., find a place later in the day maybe, and book myself right in. And I don't have the stress of texting you and going, I'm out of town.
In all honesty, Lori, from your standpoint and from my standpoint or the coach's standpoint, that is so efficient. You're right. Because not only does it help us there, but if I didn't see Lori at 4 and I had no other way other than texting her to see, one is, are you okay? Not even you missed your workout, but are you okay?
Right.
Now I can look later in the day and go, oh, okay, cool. Something must have come up. She's going to be here at 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. Perfect.
Yeah. From an IT perspective, it looks as long as it's easy for you guys to maintain your schedules and things, then, I mean, I don't have visibility to that part of it, but it seems efficient from my perspective.
Thanks, Lori. So, Shauna, to answer your question real quick, and I'll have Susan elaborate on this. So, Susan, Shauna is asking regarding kids, 12, 13 years old training, is there a posted schedule? The answer to that is yes. How do we sign them up? Susan, would you take it away, please?
Yeah, Shauna, good to see you, by the way. So yeah, what I'll need you to do is, first of all, go to our website, mhop.fit, and scroll all the way to the bottom. It'll say download waiver. Fill that out for both your kids. And when I get that, I'll see you, I'll call you. We'll, discuss pricing and membership, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll need their emails. So when you register them on the waiver, just put their email addresses. And then I will invite them to join after they're paid, because no one can sign up for classes unless their membership is active. And then, yeah, so we just get them started. I can go through it with you. You did your Pike 13. I didn't have to help you do that. So you know how to do it. Just get them on. And then for the athletes, young athletes and youth, it's hours are every hour after 12 o'clock. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, except on Wednesdays on 5 to 5. And the classes run a little longer than usual. So their classes run about an hour and 20 minutes versus the adults are 50. So same thing, we have them wait outside. Coach will come greet them at the door, ask them some questions, to kind of tell them the rules, and get started. Let me know if there's anything else, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
And we have also been asking, and I'm sure you guys have been doing it. We're going to do it here, but we're trying to teach the kids about, how to be safe. So parents, I will actually open up the bathroom door, hold the door open, I'll block it, and I'm teaching them how to wash their hands at the sink, how to clean up the sink when they're done, why this is important. I'm trying to help this summer, not just for the gym, but I'm trying to help when the kids go back to school to try to make it a habit that they can take with them when they're at school, to remember to wash their hands, and when they are in the bathrooms, the things to do to be safe. So if your kids come home and go, yeah, it was weird, Vince opened up the bathroom today and taught us how to use the bathroom, you know what I'm doing. So I will always have a coach there with me. Believe me, law enforcement, I know how things can be. So I just want you to know education is going to be the key here for me. And I want to be able to share that with everybody. So I want to give a kudos again to Lori and to Susan. Susan has answered countless questions to this, and she has done a phenomenal job. I just can't thank her enough. If it would have been me, it would have looked like a 3-ring circus and not Barnum and Bailey.
Hey Vince, you're welcome. It's, I love these guys. I've been with you for 5 years. Everyone is definitely family to me. And anyways, Shauna, just one more thing. We did limit the athletes to 4 kids in a group. And like Vince said, we are, changing things as we go. But just so you know that. But you'll be able to see how many people have signed up or how many spots are left. And there definitely are spots available. So it's not like you're like, oh my gosh, I can't. No, it's there is room out there. So just so you know.
And for families who've never used the athlete program, and I know Stefan's on, and there are people who can attest to this. Our athlete program is like nobody else's athlete program. And I know other facilities and other coaches would probably want to argue that point. But my philosophy in training kids is not to train them solely for the sport that they play in. Gabe and I have always believed in educating and growing the youth athlete to make them sound adults. And so there's a totality to our program. It includes strength, it includes speed, it includes nutrition, it includes academics. So when we get back at it, guys, yes, your kids, and we get back to school, your kids will have to provide us a copy of every single grade check that comes out. It's teaching them about social skills. It's teaching them about, what does that next level look like, whether it's academically, socially, It's about getting out into the community. We will do community type activities where we'll take our athletes out and we will do community service, parks, paintings, different things like that. So it's really about teaching them how to give back. It's teaching them a sense of humility. It's teaching them a sense of hard work and discipline. I tell parents all the time when they're in our program, we love every kid, we love every person, but love is tough. Okay. And I tell parents all the time, sometimes when you bring your kids in here, they get a different Vince every day. And they get a different Vince every day because when they enter out into the real world, they're going to get the different Vinces, those types of attitudes, characters, and they're going to know how to deal with those people. They're going to know how to deal with them from the mind, the body, and the soul. And so that is the experience that we try to give our kids that come through here, our athletes. And if you see the older athletes, I know you guys see those pennants on the wall. We have hundreds of those pennants, and we're going to get as many of them up as we can. But a lot of these kids have started with us when they were in 7th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade. And now all of a sudden, I have a young lady who just sent me, she's a flyer for the Navy. She went through Annapolis, and she's now flying Black Hawk helicopters. And if I let you read the letter that she wrote to me and the pictures that she sent to me last week, it would bring tears to your eyes, because she said in the letter, and I'll just paraphrase quickly, that everything that she learned in the belief of herself is what helped her get through Annapolis and become one of the leaders at Annapolis. So that's what it does with kids. If you look at my computer by my office, you'll see a fighter pilot. That's how the wall sits came into play, is Mikey Frazier. Mikey would be late every day. Long story short, he sent me a great thing that says, "Hey coach, there's not one time that I don't go through a day that one of the lessons that you taught me, that I don't think about it." And he said, and the PS he sent me, he was landing on an aircraft carrier in the Indian Ocean. And he said, "I just want you to know I'm not late anymore." So these are relationships that we build with these kids for a lifetime. And whether a kid stays or a kid leaves, there will be a lesson learned when they leave here. And hopefully it's one of those lessons that they take with them. And they don't ever really realize it until they get down the road in life that, oh my gosh, that happened there. And that's really what this program's about. Bigger, faster, stronger. We already know the program that we institute, number one, is safe. And I could speak all day about how it's safe for kids to resistance train. There's zero science right now that says resistance training is not good for kids. The only time it's not is when it's not supervised. And that's why we run our facility the way we do. We don't just let people come in here, anybody, I don't care what age you are. We don't just let you come in here and lift weights. You will be supervised every single time you come in here. So hopefully for parents that are listening today who, one, have kids in the program, or two, don't have kids but are considering it, this is probably the safest place in California for your kids to train and to grow. And for parents who have had kids go through this program, please, at any time, ask and talk to those people, because they will tell you about our program. Susan.
Yeah, one more thing. So 2 super great things that my kids learned through Minis was accountability, and most important is confidence. My daughter came in there with a slight fracture in her back, and she had to quit softball, and that broke her heart. She had to decide what she wanted to do. Doctor said, "Look, you don't need you could have surgery, but I don't recommend it. You need to, find a gym and get in there." She came to Minis, worked with Russ, worked with Vince, worked with the coaches. Next thing you know, she was working with a particular coach we had at the time on Saturday boot camps, and she was helping him set up. He was having her help guide with some of the classes and instructing, through stretching. She's at UC Davis now. She's a junior, finishing up junior year. She's going to be a senior. She's applying for medical school. This girl has done incredible things. My other son, older, he wants to be a physical therapist. He's going to Sac State. He's graduate school now. And my other son, he's just starting out. So, but he wants management, marketing. It's just this, and they've just done great through this whole program. So just from my point of view, and not being employed, just being a mom.
Well, and let me capitalize on that real quick, for anybody that has any concerns out there. So when Susan's son Matt came in and talked to me for the first time, I asked a few questions, and he was working with a trainer that was in this town many, many years ago, and I'll leave the name out. And this trainer was, at the time, supposedly the guy to go to. So if anybody knows Matt is very educated and he's very smart, and he really studies. I mean, this guy does his homework. So when he came in, and Susan can attest to this because she was in the office, I said, "Hey, Matt, stand up for a second, squat for me." So he did. I said, I said, "Do it again." And he did. I said, "Turn sideways." He did it again. I said, "You realize you're not squatting, right?" And he kind of looked at me like, He was leaning. The form was not good. And it wasn't good because he didn't want it to be. It wasn't good because he had some dysfunctions that needed to be corrected. And I looked at Susan and I just went like this. I went, there you go. So that's the difference, right? So Matt got in here and, then Susan told you the rest of the story. I mean, just pretty amazing. And it wasn't putting somebody else down. It was correcting something that was not right. And that's the philosophy here. People will get angry a lot of times when I say unload the weight. Why would I ever load a bad movement pattern, guys? If I load a bad movement pattern, I'm making a better bad movement pattern. So if I'm asking, or the coaches are asking you to unload, don't get offended by it, right? Learn from it, build to it, and pretty soon you'll be doing what you want to be doing with that weight. So that's kind of the approach we take with everybody, and especially with kids, because foundationally, they're not strong enough to begin with. So anyway, I'll get off of that. Any other questions? I got about 20 minutes. Well, actually, I got probably another hour and a half with you guys, but I'll cut it short today. Any other questions for me about facility training kids? Anything? Okay. Go ahead and ask it real quick and we'll get it out of the way. And I'm going to move into the final stretch. Anything? Awesome. Let's move on. So here we are. We're going to be moving into stage 3. Okay. Or phase 3, if you will. Actually, El Dorado County, we're kind of right there. On Tuesday's call, Dr. Williams actually said we are in 2+ with gray areas. So really, we're in stage 3. But we've been idle for 2.5. Well, we're really close to 3 months now. So I really wanted to talk about the stretch to success and what we really need to do. So let's talk about our fueling. We're now getting back into some workouts, whether they're outside, whether they're here, whatever, wherever. Okay, we'll get back and then some. The Lighthouse is within reach. So let's talk about food. Are you really now fueling yourself or fooling yourself? Okay, you really have to think about that now. So let's talk about, and I'm not going to go into deep conversation here, okay? That we can save for another time. Are you eating still now based upon your behaviors? I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm depressed, I'm angry, okay? You have to be able to look inside yourself. You have to be able to feel those emotions and what you're doing when you feel those emotions. So you should not 80-20 be eating based upon behavior driven, okay? Change your environment now, guys. Great opportunity to change your environment. Yeah, you've had kids home. You still have them home. Summertime, we're opening up, okay? Now's a great time on the countertops. And replace the chips, the candies, the cookies, the cakes, with water, good water, good teas, nuts, fruits, vegetables. You can still have those occasional times where you're having fun, but just not all the time. Are you preparing? And I mean preparing to go shopping. Do you prepare what days you're going to do that now? Are you preparing your food list? Are you preparing your food? Again, not overwhelming anybody. I'm not telling you anything you didn't know. In about an hour and a half, you can prepare for the whole week. This is a great time that if you really want to get your families on board, male or female, depending on who does the cooking in your house, this is a great time to get your families on board. All right. So are you tracking? Do you know, yeah, I eat at this time, this time, this time, and this time, give or take 10, 15 minutes, half hour. Right. Are you tracking what you're eating? It's funny. I have a couple of people that I've been closely monitoring food with during this time. And when they're tracking their food, they do better. When they're not tracking their food, they're all over the board. So tracking really helps, And you can use, there's different apps out there. You can write it down. You can track however you want. But ultimately at the end, it really comes down to, are you holding your vision? Are you truly holding onto your vision? What is your vision? Okay, really, what is your purpose? We'll talk about that at the end. So what are the pitfalls we can look forward to coming out of this? Well, travel now is not one of them because we're not doing a whole lot of travel. But when you do travel, what do I mean? Go to Tahoe, okay? Are you still taking your band with you or your kettlebell with you, or have you planned when you get there, are you going to go for hikes and do the things you're going to do? Okay. So that could be a pitfall of training at this point in time, but it really isn't. And then we're going to have an answer for you guys shortly too, because we're coming out with an app that you guys will have on your phone. So travel will not be a problem anymore. Time. Time could be an issue right now because you had kids who were homeschooling and doing different things like that, but schools are out now. So time should not be an issue because you could do things with your kids. Lack of preparation. Your preparation starts the day before. What am I going to do tomorrow for my workout? I'm going to get up. I'm going to wash my face, brush my teeth, whatever it is to get ready. I'm putting my workout clothes on. If you wait and you don't prepare for that, I promise you 12 o'clock will come, 2 o'clock will come, 4 o'clock will come, 5 o'clock will come, and then you'll go, oh, it's too late, I'll do it tomorrow. Or you'll do something, it'll be like, well, I did some curls, I did some presses, and I walked for 10 minutes on a treadmill. Oh, well, it's better than nothing. That's a great justification. Recovery, long-term, short-term. Are you rolling? Are you foam rolling? Have you planned in your calendar for the next month what kind of recovery you're going to do? Cold bath, swim, soft tissue work. Weekend celebrations. Woo, this is a good one. So we're in a point now where we're socializing a little bit, right? Maybe have some family members over. Well, guys, remember, the weekend doesn't start on Thursday, right? And go through Sunday. Last time I checked, Saturday, Sunday were the weekend days, right? It's the last time I checked. Now, for law enforcement people, maybe it's Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know. But it's typically 2 days. So, and then inactivity on non-workout days. On Wednesday, let's say Wednesday's your day off, your rest day. What are you doing? Are you doing your active recovery? Are you going for a swim, a bike, a walk? Huh? Right? What are you doing on those days? How about and this one I like to touch base with because it's the unsupportive environment. Some of us have spouses or people in our lives that are not very supportive. And I can't just tell you to get rid of them. Although my wife would probably tell you that. But I think communication is the key here. And as a spouse, I have to be supportive of what's important to my wife and my kids. And I have to respect that. And in turn, I would hope they respect what's important to me as well. But you also have to pick and choose your times there, right? Because you can't, communication is the key to everything. So communicate with that person and hopefully they will come along and eventually help to support you. Enough said about that. recovery, I did talk about different types. Why do we recover? To strengthen and rebuild, and to build a balance in your home life, your work life, and your fitness life. Right. So a lot of us do a lot of juggling, but recovery is really the key. And guys, when I'm talking about recovery, I'm not just talking about your workouts. I'm talking about from your day. I'm talking about the kids. I'm talking about the husband or the wife. I'm talking about bills, reducing your stress levels, getting enough sleep, hydrating enough. And these are all things I think all of us can do better because we have these elements in our life. Some people just recover better than others. Why else? The body adapts to the stresses of the world and replenishes your energy stores. It repairs damaged tissues, right? That's recovery. So short-term recovery type things are like immediately after your workouts or runs or walks, or whatever you're doing, do some mobility, walk a little bit more at a slower pace, get on a bicycle and spin, replenish your fluids and your proteins. I think especially, if you're 35 and above, you got to really look at your protein intake and make sure it's proper, whether it's plant-based or you're a carnivore. You have to replace your protein, and you have to replace it with good protein. Your body absolutely needs it. You need your amino acids, and protein breaks down to amino acids in the body. Foam roll, ice bath. When I say ice bath, I don't know, get in the lake, go down to the river. If you do, put a life vest on, be careful. Long-term recovery is I'm talking about, is it built into your weekly, monthly, 6-month, yearly calendar? Are you sleeping smarter? Sean Stevenson does a great dissertation. It's about 55 minutes on sleeping smarter. Look it up. Are you eating right? Are you hydrating, and are you reducing your stress? When you start to come back into the gym, we talked about the 3 months you were at home. We talked about your programming, and as you're coming back in now, you're going to start to load a little bit more. So when I talk about programming, I'm talking about weight selection. That's your intensity. How much weight are you using? Guys, we don't need to use a lot of weight. Let's walk back in slowly here. Let's take our time. Let's not put more stress on the body than it's normally used to handling. Exercise modifications. Folks, don't be afraid to come back in here. We'll modify the workout for you. You just have to listen and do what we're asking you to do, because we're under a time frame, right? But we'll still get you through the workout. When you're at home, if you don't know what to do, ask. We'll modify it for you. Exercise volume. How many reps? How many sets? Again, we've kind of designed it back here now when you're coming in, 3-4 sets. You really don't need much more than that. Rest time between the sets, 30 to 45 seconds is about all you need. So when you're going from one exercise to the other, it's about that time frame. It's also going to help with your cardiovascular training. And then consistency during the week. When we're talking about programming, none of this works unless you're consistent with it. None of it works with your food. None of it works with your sleep. None of it works with your workouts. None of it works with your hydration unless you're consistent with it. So consistency over time is what leads to success. Let's talk about know what you want. Knowing what you want. Again, I will refer back to Dr. Eric Thomas. There's a great video. It's called No Excuses. Parents should really watch this, and then parents should watch it with their kids. For those of you who don't know Dr. Eric Thomas, he's probably one of the most sought after motivational speakers. He grew up in abandoned apartment buildings, ate out of garbage cans. I mean, you'll hear his story, but now he's got his PhD. So I'm guessing there's a guy here who really didn't make many excuses in his life. His mom was 17 years old. He still doesn't know who his dad is. So guys, we got it pretty good. And if all you need to do is prepare yourself for an hour workout each day, there's no excuses. There's none. At least guys like me, I can tell you right now, I read through it like a book. I read through it like a book. Not judging you, but then don't come to me and ask me why it's not working. You have to be accountable to you. Because why? You reap what you sow. Remember, guys, for every finger you point out, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. Dr. Eric Thomas, Shauna, Dr. Eric Thomas, E-R-I-C, Thomas. In the meantime, you need to continue to educate yourself. Continue to educate yourself. There's so much literature out there. Just be careful how you educate. Trust me, not everything on YouTube is good stuff. Be transparent with yourself. Be transparent with yourself. Know exactly who you are. Know exactly what your triggers are. Know exactly the excuses that you make for yourself. Be transparent. Assess. Assess. Don't beat yourself up. That's not what I'm saying here. You got to forgive yourself a bit, but bottom line is you got to hold yourself accountable. Sacrifice and grind every single day. Every single day. And I got to tell you something, folks. Everybody's level of grinding is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. So when you think you're really grinding, find somebody who really grinds. Spend a day with them. Spend a few hours with them. I can tell you right now, my coaches look at me and ask me every day, man, how do you put the hours in that you put in? Because I grind. I don't know anything different, guys. I don't know anything different. Now, I'm not saying, oh, look at me, be like me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be transparent with yourself, make the changes you need to make you a better, yourself better. I have to do that with myself every day. Every day. I'm not perfect, guys, at all, far from it. So I have to do the same things. But in doing it, I have to seize every opportunity. Every opportunity. I never give up. I push through whatever it is, right? I push through whatever it is, and sometimes I'm pretty silent about it. What do you need to talk about, right? And when you push through this, you start to become who you want to be. And you have to meet and beat your fears. And again, guys, you've heard me say this. Fear is 2 things. It's false evidence appearing real, or F everything and run. I'm 250 pounds. I'm not a good runner. So you got to meet and beat your fears. As uncomfortable as they are, you have to meet and beat your fears. And then the last thing is, again, I talked about it about a week ago. What's your purpose? What is your purpose? What is your message that you're trying to send to your family, your friends, your coworkers, and ultimately the world, guys? What is the legacy you want to be known for? Right? What is it you're looking for? And everybody has it. We all have a household. My wife clearly knows what I stand for. I know what she stands for. I know what my kids stand for. And each one is different. Okay? But it's because you have to learn of what your purpose is. And today, and I ask this all the time, go back and redefine that purpose. Because when you find your purpose, you'll find your passion, you'll find that reason for going to bed, and you'll really find that reason for waking up in the morning. So once again, guys, we had a great session today. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. You are great people. We just spend each day trying to get a little better. But remember, take that time out and be kind to yourself, that sense of humility, and appreciate who you are. Appreciate who you are to yourself. Appreciate who you are to your families, your friends, and your community. Okay? Do something good for somebody today. Go out and do your 5K. Post it virtually. I'm trying to decide whether I want a mountain bike or road bike today, so I'll do something in length. That maybe if I get some time after I leave here later, maybe I'll just jump on that road bike. But post it, guys, please. This is part of that community, that 5K virtual, hashtag Tutoring Rocks, Minnie's House of Pain. please do that because people see it. You're inspiring other people. Okay. If you're not posting, are you really doing it? Are you really, maybe you're on a treadmill at home. Just take a picture of the screen. Okay. That also helps to motivate you. It's that achievement. It's that accomplishment, right, guys? So you guys are great. We're all in this together. I love every one of you guys. I truly mean that. Is there any way or any questions that you guys have for me? Now would be the time. I'll hang tight for about a minute or two, and please ask away. Steph, you're so welcome. Go get that bike ride in, man. I know what you're doing. Anybody?
Right on, Vince. Thanks a lot.
Daryl, hey, make it a great day, and do me a favor. Get out there and do something today.
You got it.
Thank you, champ. Hey, I'll see you next week.
You bet.
Wash
Thanks.
your hands a lot.
Always.
Anybody else?
Well, thank you, Vince. I'll see you on Monday.
Love you, Melissa. I'll talk to you soon, hon.
Thank
Shauna, have a great day. Hey, go do something, guys. Go do something today. Lori, see you later, hon. See you Monday.
See you guys. Have
Bye,
a great
Susan.
weekend.
Yes, you will.
Thank you so much, guys.
4 a.m.
I think I'll be there.
Awake or not.
We'll see you later.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Anybody else? Make it great, guys. Take care. Let's get her done.